The world of gaming was recently shaken. Sony announced a price increase for its digital PlayStation 5. Gamers in the UK and Europe felt the impact. The price went up by 25%. In the UK, it now costs £429. In Europe, it's €499. This change took effect on April 14, 2025. Sony explained the price hike. They pointed to difficult economic conditions. Inflation is high, exchange rates are unstable. Sony is not alone in facing these challenges. The price increase only affects the digital edition. The standard console remains at the same price. This suggests a strategic decision by Sony. They may be encouraging more users to adopt the digital platform. This price hike has generated significant discussion among gamers. Some understand the economic pressures facing Sony, others are frustrated by the increased cost of gaming. The long-term impact on sales remains to be seen. The global economy is experiencing turbulence. Inflation is a persistent problem. The cost of goods and services continues to rise. This erodes purchasing power and puts pressure on businesses to adjust prices. The gaming industry is not immune to these pressures. Exchange rates are another source of uncertainty. The value of currencies fluctuates constantly. This can impact the cost of imported goods. Sony, like many tech companies, relies on a global supply chain. Fluctuations in exchange rates can affect their profit margins. Central banks around the world are trying to control inflation. They are raising interest rates. This is intended to slow down borrowing and spending. However, it also increases the cost of doing business. Companies like Sony face a difficult choice. They can absorb these increased costs or pass them on to consumers through price hikes. The current economic climate is complex and unpredictable. Businesses are navigating a challenging landscape. Sony's decision to increase the price of the PlayStation 5 is a reflection of these broader economic forces. Adding to the economic complexity is the reemergence of tariffs. Former President Donald Trump, known for his protectionist trade policies, has returned to the political scene. His administration has imposed tariffs on various goods. This includes products from Japan, a key player in the tech industry. Tariffs are essentially taxes on imported goods. They are designed to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. However, they can also lead to higher prices for consumers. The tech industry, which relies heavily on global supply chains, is particularly vulnerable to tariffs. Japan was hit with a 24% tariff on exports to the US. This tariff specifically targeted various goods, including electronics. This move has created uncertainty for Japanese tech giants like Sony and Nintendo. They are now faced with difficult decisions about how to manage these increased costs. The reintroduction of tariffs has added another layer of complexity to an already challenging economic environment. Businesses are left to grapple with the consequences of these trade policies. The impact on pricing and consumer behavior remains to be seen. Section 4. Nintendo Switch 2 delay, a calculated move. The impact of the Trump tariffs is being felt throughout the tech industry. Nintendo, another Japanese gaming giant, has made a strategic decision. They have delayed pre-orders for their highly anticipated Switch 2 console in the US. This delay is directly related to the uncertainty surrounding the tariffs. Nintendo is clearly concerned about the potential impact on their pricing and profitability. The 24% tariff on electronics imported from Japan could significantly increase the cost of the Switch 2. This would force Nintendo to either absorb the cost or pass it on to consumers. Delaying the pre-orders allows Nintendo to assess the situation. They can monitor the ongoing trade negotiations between the US and Japan. If the tariffs are lifted or reduced, Nintendo can proceed with their original pricing plans. If the tariffs remain in place, they have more time to adjust their strategy. This delay highlights the difficult decisions facing tech companies. The uncertainty created by the tariffs is causing disruptions in the market. Companies are forced to make calculated moves to mitigate their risk. Section 5. Apple in the crosshairs. The iPhone price hike threat. Apple, known for its iPhones, faces uncertainty due to tariffs and trade tensions. Analysts predict potential price hikes for Apple products. UBS suggests the iPhone 16 Max could see a 79% price increase. This is based on a 145% total tariff scenario. Such a hike could impact sales and alienate consumers. They may turn to competitors like Samsung. The trade war shows how interconnected the global economy is. Section 6. A glimmer of hope, a sea of uncertainty. Amidst the trade tensions and tariff threats, there have been some glimmers of hope. The US temporarily paused tariffs on certain electronics, including smartphones. This provided a brief respite for Japanese companies like Sony and Nintendo. Japanese shares even rose in response to the news. However, this pause was short-lived. The Trump administration indicated that it was a temporary measure. Further trade actions are expected. Trump has hinted at an investigation into the semiconductor and electronics supply chain. This suggests that the trade dispute is far from over. The temporary tariff pause highlights the volatility of the situation. Companies are operating in a climate of uncertainty. Decisions made one day can be swiftly overturned the next. This makes it difficult for businesses to plan for the long term. The trade war between the US and Japan has created a complex and unpredictable environment for the tech industry. While there have been temporary moments of relief, the overall outlook remains uncertain. Companies are bracing themselves for further disruptions as the situation evolves. Section 7. The consumer impact, a waiting game. The ongoing trade war and its consequences have left consumers in a state of uncertainty. The price hikes, potential product delays, and overall economic instability are causing anxiety. Gamers in particular are feeling the pinch. The PlayStation 5 price increase is a tangible example of how trade disputes can directly impact consumers. The cost of gaming is rising. This could make it more difficult for some people to afford the latest consoles and games. The potential iPhone price hike, while not yet confirmed, is another cause for concern. Apple products are hugely popular. A significant price increase would be felt by millions of consumers worldwide. It could force them to reconsider their purchasing decisions. The current situation is a waiting game. Consumers are left to watch as governments negotiate and companies adjust their strategies. The outcome of these negotiations will determine the prices they pay for the tech products they love. In the meantime, uncertainty and anxiety prevail.